Michael Board, when you say she's dead in her bed, she's actually dead in the bed of a local hotel. And who, may I ask, Michael Board, paid for the hotel the night of the prom?
It was her prom date's mother who paid for that hotel. And, Nancy, this is amazing. Get this. It was not the date, Eddie Herrera, who called 911. It wasn't his mom. It was the hotel that called 911.
Okay, you're getting ahead of me. Hold on. Hold on. There's the hotel where Jacqueline had her last breath. She dies on her prom night. The room was booked and paid for by her prom date's mother for the son and his date to share the night of the prom. That's not all Mommy did, is it, Justin Fryman?
No, that's right, Nancy. According to police, they say she dropped them off. She's the one who actually went there to pick them up and also bought them alcohol.
So she takes it's my understanding, Michael Board, that the prom date, Eddie Herrera's mom, takes the two of them to a liquor store. Now, Jacqueline is not known to be a party girl, never done drugs, doesn't drink, but it's my understanding, is she accused of taking them to a liquor store and providing them hydrocodone?
That's right, Nancy. In this case, prosecutors say that she bought them drugs. And in fact, we know that there were friends at this prom who noticed that Jackie was sort of slurring her speech, stumbling around. It looks like the facts in this case show that she may have been taking drugs, drinking alcohol while she was at prom.
No offense, Kirby Clements, but I don't like that smirk on your face. I really don't.
Well, you all's theory ignores several factors. She's got a selfie with her in the hotel room on prom night. So you think she was surprised this sex was going to happen? I'm not trying to blame her, but let's be realistic.
Where was the prom, Michael Board? Was it in that hotel in the lobby?
Yes, it was in that same hotel. This is at Hyatt North in Houston, same hotel where she was found dead.
Okay, FYI, Kirby Clements, just that's the 411 for your information.
Okay.
A lot of times, girls at these proms go to a room. They rent a room to freshen up. They rent a room to change into afterclothes, like a casual outfit. After you go to the prom, like you want to go out to a burger place, or everybody wants to go out for Mexican, or you go out after party, you go and change out of your fancy dress. So just because, Kirby Clements, they've got a room for her to freshen up does not mean that she signed up for rough sex where he choked her dead.
A room, liquor, and drugs. And she's high at the prom. Come on, I'm not trying to blame the victim, but you all are painting her like Cinderella, frolic around and just snatched up by the evil man.
You know what I know
That's
about
not
her?
what happened.
No, I'm not saying he's an evil man. He's her prom date. His mother reportedly enabled them to get booze, to get hydrocodone. That's a deadly mixture. That's a deadly recipe. So you throw in teenagers with booze and hydrocodone and him wanting sex and her saying no. It's a bad scenario. I'm not saying he's evil.
Where does she
but
say
I'm
no?
saying this equals murder because
Where's the
she's
evidence
dead.
of no? There's no evidence of no. No, she's dead, but there's no evidence of no. This is a rape and a murder now, apparently.
Mark, you're representing some of the alleged victims who spot this guy with the big grin and the $3 million check. Okay, let's talk about the allegations, Mark, because when Mira DiCinsulo said he only copped a plea to the 9-year-old, you know what that is, Mark. Can I see Mark Najame, please? Mark, when you do a plea deal, the prosecutor sometimes says, okay, I'll drop these 2 counts. You plead guilty to these 3 counts. That's what happened. That does not mean he did not molest the 5-year-old little brother.
Yeah, that's a common occurrence, Nancy. You know that very well. Oftentimes prosecutors make the hard decisions. They don't want to put a young child on the stand for having the child relive it and having the family go through it. So we don't really know what happened. That's going to be part of our investigation because this happened many years ago when they were allegedly just children.
Hold on. I don't know. Can you see that picture? Mark, can you see your monitor? Imagine this guy in bed with your 9-year-old little boy or your 5-year-old little boy, Uncle Tim, as he was known, and he pled guilty to attempted child molestation. Mark Najame, there's no 2 ways about it. The 9-year-old said he, quote, sucked my weenie. that he'd take the little boy's pants off, leave his pants on.
Yeah, we intend to prove exactly that in civil court. The Florida law changed in 2010, basically eliminated the statute of limitations. So now these young men who've been devastated in their lives have an avenue to go after this gentleman. Gentlemen, I'm being generous. And we brought a lawsuit, and we're attempting to, as a beginning, to get the $2 million that he ended up netting from his $3 million lottery winnings.
Mark Najim, you know he's spending that money like a wild man. How can you stop? He's hiding it. He's spending it as fast as he can, just so your clients won't get it.
Yeah, well, we presume that's going on. Obviously, we don't know it yet. We're in the very beginning of it. It's what happens in most lawsuits. People try to dissipate their assets, dissipate their funds so that the plaintiff can't get it. All we can do is put the notice on it, be aggressive in court, which we're doing, and then set this thing up for a hearing, and then do whatever we can to identify the assets and go after them. And I think you know that just because you spent it doesn't mean we can't go after the assets you spent it on. No, we're not going to give him any peace until these young men are made whole.
You can pull that Lamborghini right out of his driveway and sell it and get the money. Mark Najim, how shocked were you when these two boys, then 5 and 9, show up in your office and say, this guy sexually molested me?
You know, Nancy, we actually have a lot of people come to our office on personal injury claims with our division, and what happens is most of them are just simply out of luck. Years have passed, and they could not get anything. They were either too afraid as youngsters, or they were persuaded to go in a different direction as a youngster, and the scars are with them forever. These young men, fortunately, have an avenue with the change of the law in the Florida legislature. So that opens the doors not only for them, but for other victims who can come forward now, and if they can find that their offender has some assets, then there's an opportunity for many of them to go after those offenders.
Okay, it's not the first time that this has happened at Walmart. What do we know, Clark?
See, there are many people in the Orlando, Florida area. We found about 4 that this has happened at a Walmart supercenter in the past year or so, and the MO appears to be the same, Nancy. You have these gentlemen, sometimes they conceal a camera on their shoe. Sometimes they conceal it behind a bag of food. But the gentlemen, they all conceal this phone allegedly, walk by a woman, wait for that moment, and then that's when they move in. Now, Nancy, where this story in particular takes a turn is when this woman thinks she's being upskirted, she immediately walks quickly to the other side of the store where she's with her husband. And her quick-thinking husband, Nancy, confronts this gentleman, but not in a physical fashion. He whips out his cell phone, and with his cell phone, snaps a photo of this gentleman right in front of his face. Then the gentleman leaves for his vehicle. And then, Nancy, things take a turn again.
Wasn't there blood found in the home?
Yes, several days after she went missing, Nancy, police investigators found some blood on the garage wall and also on the floor of the kitchen. Now, these were just little pinpricks of blood.
Wait. Michael, why do you say they were just pinpricks of blood? It sounds to me, you're saying it's just pinpricks. To me, it sounds like blood spatter. Blood spatter. Let's go to Dr. Michelle Dupree, forensic pathologist. When you say, everybody, we're giving you a tour inside the missing mom's home, Michelle Dupree, when somebody says, oh, well, it's just a little blood, it's a pinprick of blood, okay, I get it, all right? But when you start saying it's medium velocity, when you tell me there's a spray of blood and it's pinpoints of blood, you know what that means, Dr. Dupree? You tell the viewers what it means.
Nancy, that's a typical definition for impact spatter that would be consistent with blunt force trauma.
Now, explain to the viewers impact. What is so serious? What is so probative about these being pinpricks?
Impact is a strike, a force, a hit. Somebody is struck with an object. The fact that it's pinprick really may not mean anything because the rest of the blood may have been cleaned up, but pinprick, it's there. It's still there.
Well, what it means to me is this, Michael Christian. when you have a medium velocity pinprick type pattern of blood, that means it's from an impact. Something hit her and it flew a certain distance. Now, the distance is important because that shows how hard she was hit.